The emergency klaxon screamed through the corridors of the Galactic Council Station Zenith 7, but Maya barely heard them anymore. She stood in the observation deck, her reflection ghostly against the backdrop of distant stars, her hands trembling as she clutched the data pad containing the final casualty reports. 372 children. Gone. Vaporized when the Krell Armada had targeted the civilian colony on New Haven without warning, without mercy. They were just kids, she whispered, her voice breaking. They were just playing in the gardens when the bombardment started. William stood behind her, his face carved from stone, jaw clenched so tight she could see the muscle twitching beneath his skin. The young diplomat who had once argued passionately for peaceful coexistence with the galaxy's elder races was gone. What remained was something else entirely, something ancient and terrible that humanity had tried to bury beneath centuries of civilization. "The Council is convening in 20 minutes, William said quietly. "They want to issue a formal apology and offer reparations." Maya turned to face him, and he saw that her eyes, once warm and full of hope, had become cold as the void between stars. "Reparations," she repeated, the word tasting like ash in her mouth. "They think they can pay for murdered children with credits and empty words." The Galactic Council had always viewed humanity as the newcomers, the naive species that had stumbled into the cosmic community barely 2 centuries ago. Young, idealistic, soft. The elder races, the Krell with their honor-bound warrior culture, the Theshan philosophers, the Vorkai traders, had tolerated humanity's presence with the kind of patient condescension reserved for children at an adult's table. But they had made a fatal miscalculation. They had forgotten to ask why humanity had no wars, why Earth had achieved perfect peace before joining the galactic stage. They had assumed it was enlightenment, evolution, moral superiority. They never thought to ask what humans had locked away to achieve that peace. The council chamber was a marvel of xenoarchitecture, a vast amphitheater where dozens of species gathered beneath a holographic representation of the galaxy itself. Ambassador Kreltok, his chitinous plates gleaming under the lights, stood at the central podium, his translation device rendering his clicking speech into standard galactic. "The regrettable incident at New Haven was a tactical error," he announced, his tone suggesting he was discussing a shipping mistake rather than genocide. "Our targeting systems malfunctioned. We will, of course, provide appropriate compensation." "Compensation," William interrupted, his voice cutting through the chamber like a blade. He walked slowly down the aisle, Maya at his side, and every ambassador present felt something shift in the atmosphere, something primal. "You killed our children," Maya said, her voice eerily calm. "You obliterated a colony full of families, and you call it a malfunction." The Theshan High Speaker, her crystalline form refracting light in intricate patterns, raised a limb in what her species considered a gesture of peace. "We understand your grief, human representatives, but we must maintain perspective, in the grand scope of galactic history." "Perspective?" William laughed, and the sound made several ambassadors flinch. "Let me give you perspective. Do you know why Earth has no wars? Why we came to you in peace, eager to join your council?" The chamber fell silent. "We thought we'd evolved past our nature," Maya continued, pulling up a holographic display. Images filled the air, ancient Earth, burning cities, mushroom clouds, trenches filled with the dead. "For 10,000 years we were the apex predators of our world. We didn't just survive, we conquered. We fought. We killed. Not for territory or resources, but because we were good at it." William's hands moved across his data pad and the images shifted. World War I, World War II, the nuclear age, the gene wars, the final conflict. "We nearly exterminated ourselves a dozen times. We created weapons that could boil oceans, crack continents, turn our own atmosphere into poison. We got so efficient at killing that we scared ourselves." "So we made a choice," Maya said. "We locked it away. We created the protocols, genetic limiters, psychological conditioning, cultural taboos. We deliberately handicapped ourselves, made ourselves less than we were. We chose peace not because it came naturally, but because we knew what we were capable of if we didn't. Kreltak's translator clicked uncertainly. You are attempting to frighten us with your primitive history. I'm not trying to frighten you, William said softly. I'm trying to save you. Because 12 hours ago, the human government voted to suspend the protocols. The implications rippled through the chamber like a shockwave. The Vorkai trade minister's tentacles writhed nervously. You cannot be serious. That would be a violation of the Galactic Peace Accords. We would be forced to respond with military action. Please do, Maya said, and her smile was terrible to behold. You have 3,000 warships in your combined fleets, impressive by galactic standards. Do you know how many ships humanity has been building in the dark between stars for the last 50 years? Ships we told ourselves were just for exploration, just in case. She brought up another display. The ambassadors stared at the numbers, and several made sounds of disbelief in their various languages. 70,000, William confirmed. 70,000 warships, designed by the species that invented the concept of mutually assured destruction, each one equipped with weapons systems that violate 14 different galactic conventions because we didn't know those conventions existed when we designed them. But that's not even the dangerous part, Maya added, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. The dangerous part is what's happening on Earth right now. The protocols are being lifted. The conditioning is being reversed, and 3 billion humans, 3 billion apex predators who were bred in the fires of 10,000 years of warfare, are remembering what they are. The Theshan High Speaker's light dimmed. You would not dare, the Council would. The Council, William interrupted, just killed our children. You crossed a line that we drew in our own blood millennia ago. Never again, we said. Never again would we allow the innocent to suffer while we stood by and did nothing. Maya pulled up one final image. It was a photograph from New Haven, taken by a surveillance drone in the seconds before the orbital bombardment. Children in a garden, laughing, playing, alive. Her name was Sarah Chen. She was 6 years old. She wanted to be a xenobiologist. She loved Krell poetry. Ironic, isn't it? She swiped to the next image. His name was Marcus Okonkwo, 8 years old. He was teaching himself your language, Ambassador Kreltak, because he wanted to understand your culture. One by one, she showed them. 372 faces, 372 futures obliterated. You killed our children, William said again, and we gave you a choice. We came here first in peace to tell you what's coming, because that's what civilization demands. But make no mistake, humanity is done being the galaxy's naive newcomers. He leaned forward, and every ambassador in the chamber felt the weight of 10,000 years of human warfare in his gaze. We're going to dismantle the Krell military. Not destroy it. We're not monsters. But you will never again have the capacity to hurt anyone. And then we're going to have a very long conversation about what civilization actually means. And if we refuse, Kreltak demanded, his warrior pride overriding his survival instinct. Maya's smile was sad. Then you'll meet the other side of humanity, the side we've spent 2 centuries trying to forget, the side that can turn a garden world into a tomb in under an hour. The side that invented the word genocide because we needed a term for what we'd done to ourselves. She paused, letting the words sink in. We don't want that, neither do you, but those children didn't want to die either. The silence in the chamber was absolute. Finally, the Theshan High Speaker spoke, her voice carrying none of its usual authority. What? What are your terms? William straightened. Unconditional surrender of the Krell military within 48 hours. Full disarmament under human supervision. Reparations, not in credits but in service. Every Krell warrior will spend the next decade rebuilding what they destroyed and teaching the next generation why what they did was wrong. And the rest of the council, the Vorkai minister asked nervously. We'll accept humanity's new role, Maya said. Not as equals, not as juniors, as the guardians who will make sure nothing like New Haven ever happens again. We will be the ones who remember what war costs, so the rest of you never have to learn. Kreltok's plates rattled, a sign of deep agitation in his species. You would make yourselves dictators of the galaxy. No, William said. We'll make ourselves the guardians. There's a difference. We don't want power. We want those 372 children back, and since we can't have that, we'll settle for making sure no one else loses their children either. He turned to leave, Maya beside him, then paused at the chamber entrance. You have 48 hours. Choose wisely. Because humanity is very good at warfare, but we're even better at mercy. We'd prefer to show you the latter, but we'll give you the former if we must. As they walked away, the ambassadors sat in stunned silence, the weight of humanity's ultimatum crushing down on them. They had awakened something ancient, something that had been sleeping quietly in the darkness, content to dream of peace. But now the dream was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the observation deck where this had all begun, Maya looked out at the stars one final time, tears streaming down her face. Do you think they'll choose peace? She asked. William put a hand on her shoulder. They will, because they're rational beings and they understand survival. But even if they don't, he trailed off, his jaw set. Those children deserved better than this galaxy gave them. We'll make sure the next generation gets it. Outside in the dark between stars, 70,000 human warships waited, crewed by 3 billion warriors who had just remembered who they were. Humanity had shown the galaxy its face of peace. Now, if necessary, they would show them the other side. The side that had conquered a world, then conquered itself, then chosen mercy. The side that would burn the galaxy to ash before allowing another child to die unavenged. The side that, once awakened, could never truly sleep again.